What's up, crypto gang? Welcome back to another episode of Hack Crypto, where we hack our cryptocurrency and blockchain education. If you guys are brand new here, we do a small little giveaway at the beginning of every single episode. It's a Wax NFT, and today's winner is Crypto Comet. Thanks so much for commenting on the previous video with your Wax wallet address. Crypto Comet just sent you an NFT. On this episode, I catch up with my good friend Crypto Stache. We sit down and talk about everything that we're excited about with coming projects, live projects, and also upcoming ones on the Wax blockchain. This is a really exciting conversation because Crypto Stache has been in the space for a long time, similar to me, and we've had a chance to really see a lot of projects come and go. And I'm really excited about some of these land concepts where you're able to mine in alien worlds and profit share and things like that. And also with things like Dark Country and Uplift world, I think there's a lot of really cool projects and a lot of innovation that's coming out right now. We talk about some of the bumpy things that are happening in the space because it's just a really difficult space to navigate, and it's cutting edge and it's very kind of clunky on various platforms. But we go through some of the exchanges where you can go and find Wax NFTs, and all the links will be in the description below. But without further ado, let's jump right into my conversation here on the channel with Crypto Stache.
Hey man, so hey, really great to have you on the channel, and for me to be on your channel too. We're doing a double thing here, and man, we've been friends for a long time, and we've seen a lot of things come and go, especially in the NFT space. So I'm kind of excited to talk to you about everything going on here on Wax and some of our favorite projects.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to do another collab. It's been a while. You and I go way back in terms of collecting NFTs, talking about them before they were cool, I guess you could say.
Before they were cool, for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
When I couldn't give away an NFT for free, people were like, what is it? And I'm like, oh, it's a digital collectible, but it's backed by a blockchain. And like, pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely seen a lot come and go. So I am excited about Wax. You're excited about Wax. You've been in the Wax community long before I was, and it's been fun to see just the volume on Atomic Hub, the like main exchange we could call it on Wax. That's pretty astonishing. I mean, serious growth in terms of what is it, like 100x what it was from
Yeah.
late last year. It was $100,000, and then it's like 1.4, 1.2 million a day at this point.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, even just comparing it to earlier in March, if you look at the sales volume in March, it was like it was like, I don't know, less than 200,000, 175,000 in volume. And then now we're seeing days where it's going well over 2 million, peaking above 2 million. So we're seeing, regular 1.5 over $1 million trading days on Atomic Hub this whole month of this whole past month in April. So definitely massive volume increase here in Wax. I think that all the damn videos I've been doing about them, they finally been getting out there. We're like, oh wow, there's more than just Ethereum out there. Because I think that's kind of one of those natural things is that people tend to gravitate towards whatever is the first mover, who has the biggest name, right? What is the biggest name I've heard? Well, I've heard this name a bunch, so that must be the only one, and that is NFTs to people. Ethereum and like OpenSea or Nifty Gateway, there may be people who don't even know that NFTs exist outside of Nifty Gateway, And so I think that now that we've had a bunch of new people coming into the space for the last 3 or 4 months, they've gotten a little comfortable. They got their feet wet with some NFTs and some different platforms, some different marketplaces, and then started realizing, like, is this really all there is? Are these fees really what I have to pay to be involved in this? And I've seen some other things, other people talking about, and that's a natural process we see here. Every time that there's some sort of cycle or super cycle for something going on in the industry, right? It's existed before this cycle, this hype cycle, but then when it hits it, so many new people are coming in, and they don't really know all the things that are going on. So they start with whatever is the most obvious, and then kind of work their way down. And as that cycle kind of plays out, they start to trickle down into other platforms and to finding other things and kind of going down that crypto rabbit hole, as people like to say. And I think that's kind of where we're at right now. We're starting to see after a couple of months of this being in the mainstream, NFTs like really being in the mainstream, we're starting to see a lot of people start to explore other avenues.
Mhm.
And obviously because I've been talking about it. No, but no, really, just doing their exploration, doing their own research, which is important. You're not just listening to windbags like me and you over here talking about it, but to actually go out and like do their own research and really look at it, read things, and get different opinions.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So, what we wanted to do in this video was talk about some projects that we're excited about, specifically that are on Wax. And before we get into that, I'd love to just get your perspective, Stash, on what exchanges really are at the center point here. I know Atomic Hub, like Pink Network by Jonah and those guys, they're doing an incredible job of really being a hub for all of this. But are there any other exchanges that are, I guess, noteworthy that people can find Wax assets on?
Yeah. I mean, Atomic Hub is definitely the largest exchange, has the most volume going on. But there are a couple other ones out there, and there's a couple who've already come and gone as well that we've seen here. And I think that's largely due to the fact that there were two different NFT standards on Wax. The first one was called Simple Assets, and that's where the NFTs on Wax launched with that first iteration. But then Atomic Hub came through with the Atomic standard, which is what pretty much everything uses now. It's much more advanced than the simple assets. And so we've seen a couple of the simple asset based exchanges kind of fall by the wayside that were very popular and heavily used in the beginning. But there's some really great ones still. And NFT Hive, I would say, is probably the number 2 exchange
Mhm.
for Wax. So they have a little bit of a nicer UI, I would say, even though the UI itself is like slicker looking, but it's not the easiest to use either. I would say both Atomic Hub and NFT Hive, they both have a lot of UI and UX improvements to make. I have a lot of gripes with kind of the way things work on there and the way they're laid out and the limitations they have. So I'm definitely looking forward to some of those things being overhauled. But NFT Hive has some really great secondary tools that you can use that you don't find on Atomic Hub. I'm actually going to be doing a full review of them and those tools because they're kind of, I wouldn't say unique to them, but it's something that you don't find on Atomic Hub.
Yeah.
So really interesting there. And then there's a couple ones like a Wax Stash is another one. It's fairly straightforward. Also, not a big fan of the UI there. I don't know what it is about these marketplaces, but they definitely could use some improvements there. And I think then there's a couple ones. So there's still a couple of like simple asset market is still one that where you can go and trade simple assets. So if you have like OG GBK packs or something like that, you can go and you can trade those there. Which I'm still sitting on a couple of those very first OS1 GPKs, and you can't trade them really in any of these bigger marketplaces because they're all atomic assets and they don't allow for simple assets.
Mhm.
So there's no backwards compatibility. So that's the other kind of downside there. And then there's a new one called Wax Gallery that's getting ready to launch. It's not out yet, but it's going to be more focused on like a gallery look, which I think is really cool. And hopefully that will maybe solve some of those UI issues that we've seen.
Yeah, nice. And I remember the last time we did a collab about Wax was right when GPK came out. Actually, I remember it was like, I want to say it was the week after that it had
Yeah.
launched, and we were talking about it. And I remember they did actually a pretty decent job just because it was such a big brand, and they've done a good job, Wax, in terms of supporting these drops, especially with like the MLB one that recently came out because that sold out so quick. That moved extremely quickly on
Yeah.
Wax, which was fun to see them be able to support that level of a drop because a lot of these on Ethereum and things like that are getting bogged down, and gas fees just kind of go through the roof. And it's cool to see them being able to actually support that. So
Yeah.
I thanks for sharing the exchanges. I have heard of the NFT Hive because that was Street Fighter, right? That one was the one that was kind of the premier platform for Street Fighter to be.
Well, I mean, not necessarily. See, the thing is with the atomic asset standard is that when you list something on Atomic Hub, it will be on NFT Hive too. So the listings are because they're using the same standard, the listings are going to be on both exchanges. So that's kind of the interesting thing about Wax is that versus okay, well, if I create a set ERC 721 token on Rarible, Well, you I mean you'll be able to see it on OpenSea because they have that connection there, right? But that's kind of a native thing when it comes to the atomic assets, right? And the atomic standard.
Got it. Didn't know that. Good knowledge
Yeah.
nugget for
So
the day.
you could go and shop for my NFTs on NFT Hive, and it's not like, oh well, if he doesn't sell them there, then we can't find them there, right? You can still go find everything on those platforms.
Excellent. So, which projects? Let's do like three or four each that you're looking forward to. Let's go
All
through.
right, you start.
All right, I'll start. So, I think Alien Worlds is the one that I really wanted to talk about first. I love the idea of having these basically lands that are producing cash flows. I think that that's a brilliant model, and a
Yeah.
lot of people are following suit with that. I think that they were, I won't say the first, but they've been the most successful, hands down,
Oh yeah.
because they've made such big waves with Binance and everything that it's garnished quite a lot of attention. I mean, for creating land and earning on the land. I think that that's super cool to see that going in such a big splash in the space with land.
Yeah, I mean, they have, the thing about too is it's a fairly simple, straightforward, game at this point. It's a kind of a passive DeFi game, but they're definitely adding new elements to it, and there are going to be more gamified elements where you can actually play and do things with them.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, but they have a really great, full complete ecosystem setup. Where you go, you mine, you buy NFTs to help you mine better, and then you're earning TLM Trillium, which is the in-game currency there, and then being able to stake that, be able to do different things. All the planets that you're kind of staking to are these world DAOs that are going to allow you to once you stake, you get kind of voting rights and things and governance for that planet. And you can even drop NFTs as mining rewards on your land, which is a really cool feature. Something I'm going to be setting up here pretty quick, actually, for my land that's on Cavian 1416. And so you'll be able to you can already mine on my land and get things, but you'll be able to mine on my land and also get exclusive crypto stash NFTs.
Nice, nice. Yeah, see that type of cooperative game, because I studied a lot of game theory in college, and having cooperation within a game really gives power to players.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's just such a cool, they thought through all the different components to it. So I really wanted to shout them out because I like what they've done.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorite top projects, and one of the top it's like the top traded project on Wax. So they were on Binance launch pool, and that has been a big boost. And so TLM is live there, and they have this kind of cool cross bridge between Wax and ETH and BSC too. So they're doing a lot of really cool things. The developers there too, Michael Yates, he's a demon, man. The guy is on top of it and just crushes it. So also one of my faves.
Yeah. So next up, we actually talked about this right before we jumped on, which was the social collect for the Wax, on Wax. That's
Mhm.
basically like a way to showcase all the different collections that you have in your wallet. And you can earn as well when you have like bigger collections with different companies and things like that. And this one I think is kind of like the Showtime concept. Have you seen that one on Ethereum, where it's kind of like a social network to show off your different NFTs?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that one. No.
Yeah, so I think that
About Showtime.
they've done some clever concepts with bringing people on here to showcase their assets, including a leaderboard. So you can go on there and see, like, by the collections, by the experience of the actual owners, and by value. They're like ranked side by side by side. So you can
Mhm.
see some of these people have quite large stacks on here already. And they have like a feed. So you can see the people that are sharing updates and things like that on their collection. And I think
Mhm.
it's a clever concept because it's kind of gamifying the collecting aspect and being able to show it off. Because I haven't seen anything like that on Wax before, other than just you know, the Atomic Hub inventory, being able to show that to people. in like a video format, but
Yeah,
nothing that's
yeah,
like a
yeah.
shareable link, right? Um,
Yeah,
so
no, I'm right there with you. I think that Cluck Social's doing something really cool. They're kind of just really getting started here with what they have going on. But the idea of being able to show off your NFTs in a way where you can kind of collect and earn, you're collecting just by things you like, and
mm,
also earning. I think that that brings more utility to NFTs, which I love. I love an NFT with utility.
yeah, utility. And the last one by the same developers, actually. I've been really bullish on them as a team in general. Talked about them for quite some time, but Dark Country is the other game that they released quite some time ago on
Hmm.
Wax, and now they partnered with Flow, the blockchain that everybody's familiar with around NBA Top Shots and Dapper Labs that made Crypto Kitties, of course. But they partnered with them to do this latest drop for lands. So the trend here that I'm kind of obsessed with being lands and mining and earning for holding these lands, just because of the success of like Sandbox and stuff like
Hmm.
that. I think it's a really cool concept to bring to Wax because I hadn't really seen that before Alien Worlds kind of cracked that nut.
Hmm.
And it's just really exciting to see that kind of cash flow potential for people that are willing to get involved early, and especially something on Flow. It's a little clunky to get involved in Flow. Have you played around with that at all, like getting tokens and whatnot?
Yeah, 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 for sure. I mean, flow, I mean, to buy flow here in the United States is you really can't do it. It's something you have to go to another exchange or VPN or something like that. So yeah, and I mean, to be fair, that it's not easy to buy wax either. you know
Yeah, true.
Buying wax is also one of those hard things. So when you talk about some of the limiting aspects, that's definitely one of them. We're limited in this blockchain because wax is just not widely available at any like big exchange where it's like, oh yeah, you can get wax on Binance, or you can get wax on Coinbase, or you can get wax on another US exchange. Like there's none. And
Mhm.
so you're stuck with having to do something like a VPN into another site, or pay high fees and doing it through like a simplex or something like that through MoonPay. So I think that the same problems exist kind of with Flow and using the Flow token for things like that. It's definitely a big hurdle.
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
hurdle.
I used a wallet called Blockto.
Yeah, Blockto, yeah, is one of the main wallets for Flow.
Yeah, yeah, and it was a different experience for sure. But I have run into that with Wax. It seems kind of difficult to get access to it, which is kind of frustrating just because there's so many cool assets on there compared to Flow right now. I mean, there's just so much more inventory available that,
Yeah, yeah. The ecosystem on Wax is super undervalued.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So those are pretty much the three. I know you mentioned a couple other ones that are trying to do or pioneering this land concept, but those are kind of my three that I'm super focused on Wax specifically.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, so when it comes to like land-based ones, I think that what Uplift World is doing is really cool. They're one of the first ones here on Wax to have a like, so a lot what happens here with these virtual land sales is they say we're selling the land, but then there's no real, like, you don't actually have the land yet. Like they're developing it, right? But the great thing about Uplift World is that they actually have this. It's a Minecraft NFT and blockchain enabled Minecraft server, and so their whole world is kind of built on this idea that you own land there, and there's different properties, and pretty much every major wax influencer or game or creator has some plot here in Uplift World. And so you can actually go in there and start building and doing things in that world, and they've done some really amazing things. And not only do that, but they also have a pretty big charity component, which I really love too. So they regularly raise money for charity through a lot of these sales too.
Really,
So
really,
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, so Uplift World is really cool. I actually have a plot of land in there, but the fact of the matter is that I'm not a huge Minecraft player, so I jump in. I'm like this complete noob, and I'm like, how do I find my land? And like you were like, oh, go here and do this. And so I'm trying to work on getting a build going on there inside that. But yeah, the great thing about it is it's not like, oh, coming soon, or it'll be here, pay for it now. It's like you buy a land plot and boom, you can go in and you can start building right now. So
Very.
I really like that. I think that we see a lot of these pre-sales where people are, they're buying these things, but then it's like, it's going to be a year or 2 years before they're even going to be able to buy it or to do anything with it. And so yeah, I think that can be a little bit of a deterrent, especially to new people. Like they're thinking, oh, I'll get this land, I'll be able to do something immediately, and then they really just can't. They got to kind of sit on it or speculate or something like that.
Yeah, I love the design of Uplift World. It like reminds me of Miami Vice kind of. It's like this slick, cool nightlife kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
It's so funny because when I think Minecraft, I don't think that kind of cool Miami Vice vibe. It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
different one.
Yeah, and so I mean, like I said, what they're really doing is like that. I think they have, they've made some great partnerships. They're working with a lot of good teams. They also just did a recent partnership with Our Planet. So Our Planet's also doing some land sale stuff too, and they kind of collab where you can get on both through one of the sales, and
Mhm.
so yeah. So I really love the team there, Corey and everybody who is working to make that happen. And yeah, it's been great to be able to support them and stuff so far.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I have to dig deeper into the Uplift one. But what's next? What's next? You have the pick.
So my last one that I think that because you kind of took a cut mine there, but that I'm excited about. But so the last one I want to talk about is crypto Fini. So crypto Finis are a really cool, kind of like pixel generative avatar, and they have a cool little like backstory behind this. And basically one of the things I really loved about it is they put out these like Genesis coins to start things off as kind of like their pre-sale. And the whole idea behind these coins was that when the time came when it was called the burn, you take these coins and you actually just burn them on Atomic Hub. You don't have to do anything else. You just go right click, burn the coin, and then the smart contract knows that you've burnt a coin, and it then automatically sends you a generated crypto Fini. And so, like, it could be like it's just like some of these other generative NFTs where it's the same base look, but then like the colors are different, or the clothes that the Finis are wearing different. One has a mustache, one has a chain that says wax. So they have all these. So you get these kind of random crypto Finis, and then you can burn different metal types of these Finis together to get like the upgraded version, right? And you can do that all the way up to a couple of levels to get some really cool animated ones, which I thought was pretty cool. So I really love the mechanic that they went with there for the launch of their project, where it was really centered around this burn aspect, where you bought these coins, you burn them, and then the contract is just automatically sending you a random Fini. And actually, I linked up with the team, and they did a crypto stash version. So I have my own like crypto like stash Fini, and it looks just like me with the big smiles like that. And so I've been doing some giveaways for those. I'm actually going to be doing a giveaway later this week on my Twitter for one of them too. So
Nice.
but there's only 10. There's only 10 of those. And so the Finis themselves are pretty limited too in supply. So it's a really pretty low supply on those. And so and it's all connected to kind of like the crypto Fini thing is all connected to this crypto writer series. And so they have a good website where you kind of interact and things like that. And they're doing a lot of stuff. So the collection name is actually Writer. So you got to look for that on Atomic Hub, not crypto Finis. You can still probably type in Fini, and you get like their stuff, but their actual collection name is crypto Fini.
Yeah, and you told me about this right
It was
before
Writer.
we
Yeah.
jumped on, and I had not heard of it. So I felt like I missed out. So I'm gonna have to get one of these just because this is very cool. And I like that it's kind of hidden on Atomic Hub. It's super exclusive.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they have a big community too. So like these things went really fast, and people were burn. I was burning a bunch of Fini coins to try and make some of my own combinations like that. And so yeah, I think it's one of those cool, interesting things, and to see what's going on in Wax. There's so many great community projects on Wax. As much as there have been some really big, IP drops like Street Fighter, Garbage Pail Kids, Major League Baseball, Weezer, and a bunch of others. When you look at the marketplace, the ones that are continually traded high are the community-based projects.
Mhm.
So Alien Worlds, Our Planet, Hodl God, yeah, Dark Country, some of these other ones these are like cogs, these are all kind of like our homegrown community projects, not just like some big IP coming through and saying, oh, we're dropping our stuff here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love that aspect.
Yeah. Well said. And it's such a good, vibrant community on there. I mean, I've had nothing but good feedback about people using it. Like you said, the user experience could be better, but
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, it's pretty good compared to some of these other platforms that are coming out and really struggling to get a user base. A lot of this is
Yeah, or handle the user base they have. And I think that's a big problem on every platform. And Wax has those problems too. So like scalability problems in general. With all these big drops, we see there being issues. There was issues with MLB. There was issues with Godzilla. There was issue, and so it's not without issues, guys. So don't think like we're saying, oh, it's perfect and it works great. I mean, there are some issues. We working through it because this is a cutting edge technology and something that is not like it's oh yeah, we've been doing this for 10 years. This is early 90s internet, and we're building the AOLs, where it works perfect then, but we're the test dummies. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay being on the cutting edge and on the forefront of things, but that does mean that you kind of have to accept some problems and issues that hopefully get resolved over time.
Yeah. Agreed. And I'm excited for what Wax is doing. Definitely, I'm going to be leaving all the links to what we talked about, each of these projects in the description below. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Wait. You weren't looking forward to crypto stash NFTs? I can't believe you didn't mention me, Steve. Come on, man. You're breaking my heart.
Of course. I mentioned the stuff.
I do some fun NFTs and like that, and I do. What I really have been liking doing actually recently is the collaboration. So finding really great up and coming artists that don't have a big following, that like are doing great work, but need a platform. They need somebody to help them kind of market. So I've been doing some really cool collaborations with some companies and some artists that are out there on Wax, so I could give them a little bit of a bigger spotlight. And so that's been a lot of fun being able to help them along and like teach them about Wax. That's kind of my thing, is like, hey, let's do a collaboration. I'll show you everything of how this works, how the ins and outs, and that way you kind of can get started, and you're not just kind of like, what do I do? I don't know how this works. How do I make a draw? And so I also kind of help them through that process. So that's really been something I've been enjoying a lot lately.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love the designs that you've done, and also the Bitverse that Ben over there at BitBoy Crypto did is pretty fantastic. I mean, effectively like comic book style
Mm-hmm.
designs. That was really cool to see him do that. And they're
Yeah.
building out this whole little universe of characters. And um, yeah, it's fun seeing content creators get involved in this type of cutting edge, uh, tech, because the upside is pretty massive. Like you said, yours are selling out in seconds. That's huge. That's absolutely huge.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's a couple of factors there too, and a lot of people have complained about bots and stuff like that too, and we know that is starting to be a bit of an issue. But I guess when you get to a certain point, people would just they know they can make a profit off of your NFTs. They want to get in there. Some people don't get them. They miss out. They feel really bad. They start to complain. So yeah, definitely looking at some ways to kind of combat a few of those things. And I know I'm not the only one that's had that issue. We've seen this issue with all of the different drops like that as well, and then essentially being auto listed as soon as they're bought. Like there's literally bots that are like out there, they're buying it up as soon as it drops, and then within 2 seconds they're already listed on the marketplace. And so it's definitely like a script that people are using to be able to do this. And then we've seen people that are creating fake collections of drops the day that they drop. So we saw it for Hodl God yesterday when they did their drop with Blockchain Heroes. Immediately there were fakes on the marketplace, and then same thing for my drop. Immediately someone had put a bunch of fakes up.
Wow.
And I hate to see people get duped like this, but so always check the collection name and make sure it has that orange check next to it. And that is a level 2 verification on Atomic Hub, which means they're legit.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. People are
Yeah,
spoofing there. That's wild, man. Well,
happens.
that's everything I got for you. I'm excited for what's to come on Wax, and that's it.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it. We had a great time talking, man. We'll have to do this again pretty soon.
Yeah, great catching up. That's it for my catch up with Crypto Stache. Love what he's doing with his NFTs. The links to those will be in the description below. Had a great time going through all the things he's excited about. I got a lot more research to do on some of the projects he mentioned, and a lot of really exciting ones that are upcoming that I will be talking about on the channel that I'm really excited about. And that is it for this episode. If you guys like this, slap a like, leave a comment in the comment section below if you guys like these types of NFTs, and I will see you on the next episode of Hack Crypto.